Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining in. My name is Umar Khokhar, and I'm Assistant Professor of Information Technology at Georgia Gwinnett College. My co-presenter, Dr. Bintran, he's Associate Professor, and he's also my co-PI for ALG project for this. I mean, the project for which we are presenting this work, in fact. Uh, if you guys will have any question, anything to discuss, you can always unmute your mic, or you can just tell me. I mean, you can unmute your mic, and we you can ask the question if you have any. I will start my presentation with a saying of Benjamin Franklin. It's tell me, I forget; teach me, and I may remember; and involve me, I learn. That's basically what my philosophy whenever I design courses, because by profession I'm a teacher. So whenever I design courses, I try to involve students, so try to engage students so they can actually learn or grasp over the concept in an efficient way. Using this philosophy, we have designed our information security course, which covers the theoretical concept plus the hands-on practical labs as well. So students they can better understand the concept, they can better apply the concept. In fact, that's basically what our point is. And in this talk, we will present the insides of information security fundamental course, and we'll discuss the course outcomes and course designing strategies. How a course can be designed in such a way that students can actually learn the course with some hands-on practice, with some application of the course as well. So this is our agenda of the discussion. I have three things to discuss, starting with the learning outcomes. Like it's the learning outcome, like after taking the course, what will be the learning, what students can do, what could be the expectation of the students as well. Then we will discuss the course organization, like what are the required things, how the course will be organized, what are the different chapters, and the basic content in the chapter. I'll just give you overview of those stuff and how instructor can get those contents. I mean, from where you can actually get that stuff. In fact, I mean, we'll try to make it free. Like we'll try to actually see which from where where instructor can actually get the you can say the contents, so students they can have free access to the material. The last is the hands-on practical lab, how instructor can design a lab, or even how students they can use their own computer to practice the information security labs, how we can design the virtual labs, in fact the virtual environment. These are the three main agenda items, three things that we will be discussing today. That's the learning outcome of information security, the fundamental course of information security. Starting with uh, the students should be able to analyze the key concept of information security. Key concept mean they should have thorough understanding of uh, the, the the traits of information security, how a security can be evaluated, can be assessed. For example, confidentiality, integrity, availability, authentication, and all, the basic concept of information security. Then students they can have good understanding of cryptography, applications of cryptography, like where exactly we use cryptography, like public key cryptography, private key cryptography. What is the role of these? I mean, why do we need cryptography? In fact, that's basic. And students they should have the good understanding of the concept of cryptography. The third is the apply the basic mechanisms of information system security, uh, like a typical model of a cyber security attack or a cyber attack. For example, starting with the reconnaissance, how reconnaissance can be performed, can be executed. After reconnaissance, how attackers, or you can say how we can find vulnerabilities. What are the common vulnerabilities? Students should be able to understand that. What are the common vulnerabilities? How those vulnerabilities can be exploited, like how attackers they can exploit those vulnerabilities, and finally how we can avoid those vulnerabilities. This is the third learning outcome of this course. The fourth one is the different web application attacks. uh, Web application attacks include cross-site scripting, SQL injection attack, and stuff like that. I'll give you a good idea about it, how students can have practical hands-on experience on those web application security attacks and vulnerabilities. And the last but not the least is the network monitoring and malware analysis. Now, how network devices can be protected against the malicious traffic, how malicious traffic can be detected, and stuff like that. What are the different tools which instructor can use in the course, and how students can learn those tools as well. So these are some learning outcome for information security course, a typical fundamentals of information security course. So this is the course, or the organization of the course. In our ALG proposal, the project, we have already started writing these chapters. So again, you can have, I'll tell you guys how you can actually design a free course for your students, like from where you can get the material, what kind of stuff you exactly need in for these chapters. I'll give you a quick deep insight of that, starting with the first chapter, which is information security concept, the network fundamentals. The third chapter is malware and security attacks, authentication, access control. 2 chapters on cryptography, and the last one is web application and wireless network attacks. So it pretty much cover all the aspects of information security fundamentals. A student, or you can say the guy, the student who is basically pursuing for system and security or cyber security majors, this could be a good fundamental course for those students, in fact. So just a quick overview of each chapter, like in each chapter, how instructor can get material, and how students, how you can actually get the free material for student, and what student can expect from all these chapters. Chapter number 1, which is the information security concept, the basic concept of information security. The first thing that we have put in this chapter, because we have already started, as I mentioned earlier, we have already started writing over our book, which will be available on ALG, on some other platform as well, for absolutely free. You can also access that book as well by the end of December somewhere. Chapter 1 is basically where we start with why do we need security. We just motivate this question, why security is important. Okay, like for example, the different examples for security. Like the thing is, as we are becoming more dependent on digital systems, digitization, automatically what happens? Security, the cloud security, information security will become a necessary thing for that. So starting with the why do we need security, we will establish the reason, establish the point here. Then in the first chapter, for the concept, the recent security breaches can be introduced. Like it could be, starting with the British Airways hack, starting with, the eBay, Olympics. There are many security breaches. You can find a lot of security breaches, and there are many good security breaches that you can actually find out from different. There are different blogging sites as well that you can join to actually educate yourself for different security breaches. Then the parameters of security, confidentiality, integrity, availability, and other parameters of security will be the part of that. And the last and the most important thing is these cyber attack models. Like what is the typical cyber attack process? For example, reconnaissance, scanning, vulnerability assessment, and all that particular step, all the way to exploitation and delivery and etc. So how we can get information and from where we can get the data. Like there are free models. One of the model is cyber kill chain model, diamond model. There are plenty of models available. Like you can pick any of the model, and you can actually use that model to introduce the security concept. Then chapter number 2 is a very important chapter, which is about network fundamentals again. Like if you want to protect a network, first of all, we need to understand what are the different components required for a network. So in chapter number 2, we establish the foundations of basic networking. Again, we cannot cover all the concept of networking here, but again, students, they will have good understanding, or after this chapter, they will have a good idea about TCP/IP protocol, the messages or TCP/IP messages, or you can say the message structure, in fact, so they can understand different attacks, the network attacks, for example, ARP poisoning attack, DNS poisoning attack, and these kind of attack that we're gonna discuss in the next coming chapters. So having a good understanding, good fundamentals of network, it is really important for security as well. Chapter 3 is basically we introduce different security attacks, including and mainly it's the network attacks, like DOS attack, DDoS attacks. Like again, the thing is we will actually provide the definitions plus again the applications as well, like where those attacks have been reported. In fact, the malware, the types of malware, the structure of a malware, how a malware can be designed, like what's basically the structure of malware and how those malware can be avoided, can be detected. So that's basically what we will discuss in chapter number 3. The types of different malware, types of infection strategies. This is the part of chapter number 3. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we can actually get all the, because these are freeware, open source kind of things. So you don't have to actually, I mean, you can, and I'll introduce you and I'll tell you guys from where you can get the information, where you can get the different resources, the free resources which you can use for your course. Chapter number 4 is basically authentication, where we will discuss different authentication factors, like multi-factor authentication, for example, starting with the username, password, knowledge base, location-based authentication, for example, the action-based authentication, biometrics, and et cetera, et cetera. And as you know, mostly, most of the websites or most of the web servers, in fact, they still use username and the password. So we will emphasize on password attacks as well, like different password attacks. For example, you can actually find different kind of password attacks. For example, rainbow table attack, dictionary attack. There are plenty of probabilistic attack models as well. So these attack models can be used and their defense strategies as well. Formal authentication models. Again, it would be good to introduce the formal authentication model. For example, Radius, Kerberos, security assertive markup language, SAML, TAC, ACS, total access controller system, etc., and OAuth kind of things. These are the things that authentication you can use in authentication, and we have also used it in our book. Chapter 5. In chapter 5, access control, like after authentication, the next level is how much a user can access. So let's say if you have a username and password. So how much you can access with your legitimate set of username and password. So that's basically who will define access control system. So formal access control models can be will be discussed again, like DAC model, MAC model, non-discretionary, role-based access control model, Bell or Podella model, Biba integrity. There are plenty of models that you can use for access control. And then the implementation strategies, how those models can be implemented. Then the chapters 6 and 7 are basically for cryptography, specifically the introduction of symmetric encryption, private key encryption in chapter number 6, where again, we motivate the question, why do we need cryptography? What's the applications? And a couple of symmetric encryption algorithms will be discussed in chapter number 6, like BEST algorithm, AES, again, the structure and how exactly they encrypt the data, encrypt the messages as well. Chapter 7 is about asymmetric encryption, the one which we use in SSL, HTTPS. We can use digital signature, discuss digital signature, public key infrastructure like certificate. And again, it's a very interesting chapter. It would be a very interesting chapter for students because you can visualize the students on their browsers as well, like how the messages gets encrypted. You can visualize or you can show them the public key, how public key can be exchanged, like Diffie-Hellman algorithms, RSA, ECC would be hard at this stage, so RSA would be fine. Diffie-Hellman would be fine as well. The last chapter is chapter number 8, where students, firstly, web application, the discussion about web application, what is a web application, and then common vulnerabilities of web application, how web applications can be hacked, how people can actually hack web application, in fact. So that's basically what the part of web application is going to be. Like different web application attacks can be discussed, like cross-site scripting, for example, cross-site scripting, persistent cross-site scripting, reflection, SQL injection, command injection, directory traversal, etc., etc. So some web application attacks, and followed by the second part of this chapter will be wireless network attack. And we can use Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, these two widely used technologies to explain the wireless network attacks. For Bluetooth, blue snarfing, blue jacking, these things can be discussed. And for Wi-Fi, we can discuss a couple of things like replay, sniffing, etc., etc. So this is basically the theoretical part of the information security. Again, as I mentioned earlier, and you can see from the course content, there is nothing such thing like I mean, you can get everything from different resources, which I will tell you guys. And we have actually we wrote our book, and we are in the process of writing a book. In fact, almost we are done with 7 chapters, and we have actually write down everything with our own examples, the way how we actually teach this course. So we have put all that stuff together in it. Now the things from where you can actually get uh, I mean, from where you can get the material for your course. These are a few very helpful link, because I have personally used many of these links, and trust me, it's amazing. Especially the SANS Institute stuff is really amazing. Other than that, you can find different libraries as well, from where you can also get the information about different courses. These are some of the very helpful resources. Now, coming to our second part of our presentation, the practical hands-on labs. Now, again, when you talk to the student, when you just describe, hey, this is web application, this is cross-site scripting and stuff like that, they might, I mean, they will remember. Maybe they will, just to pass the class sometime, they might actually memorize the concept. But the thing is, it's not basically, I mean, if you are a true instructor, your point is, if you explain something, or if you actually discuss a theoretical stuff in the class, you should actually involve the student to show the student, hey, that's the way how it could be understand, it could be applied, it could be, that's the application, or this is how the cross-site scripting attack looks like. Now, again, for this particular course at GGC, we have a requirement, like students, they have to have their own computers. Now the thing is, if you see here, firstly, we need a virtual lab environment. We require a virtual box where we can actually put different operating system. One of the operating system, which is offensive kind of operating system, attacker's operating system, which is mostly used in ethical hacking as well. It's Kali Linux, absolutely free, which comes with bundles of tools, like where you can teach student reconnaissance, like how you can find vulnerabilities and all that kind of stuff. Social engineering tools, it comes with exploitation tool, the password tools, which we were talking about, the rainbow tables, aircrack, etc., etc. So Kali Linux is basically the one which come with all these tools. Again, it is absolutely freely available. It's absolutely free. It comes with plenty of tools in it. Other than that, there are many other operating systems as well. Like nowadays, Parrot is also getting attraction. Termex, that's emulator based, which you can use in your Android device as well. But this is basically one of the really good tool which come with plenty of tools. Plenty of tools in it. You don't have to install the tool from GitHub or other sources. It comes with a lot of tools. Then again, the other problem is how to test these. Like, for example, are we going to target the real world servers, real world computers? So that's not the case, of course. So there is another operating system that we can use, or it's also freely available. And Rapid7 is the name of the company who designed this operating system. It's called Metasploitable 2. Absolutely free operating system. It's a Ubuntu-based operating system, and you can also put it in the virtual box on the same line, on the same virtual machine, virtual environment. And that operating system can be, because this operating system, the Metasploitable, it came with plenty of vulnerabilities. And why we call it Metasploitable? Because all the exploits are inside the Metasploit. Metasploit is one of the software that comes with the Kali Linux, in fact, exploitation framework, in fact. So Metasploitable 2, just to show the students how basically vulnerabilities can be exploited, because it comes with plenty of services running on it, FTP, HTTP, and plenty of other services as well. So you can actually target this machine, because this machine can also be hosted on the same computer. Then the DVWA, damn vulnerable web application. There are plenty of applications like that. This is, by the way, one of the application, DVWA. And that application, by using that application, again, you can host this application on your Kali Linux or your host machine, or it also comes with the Metasploitable 2 as well. So you can, but again, if you want to thoroughly understand that, so it's good practice to install it on your Kali machine, and you can give experience to student of cross-site scripting by SQL injection and some other stuff as well. So students can understand what are the typical vulnerabilities and how a web application can be designed in a secure way, secure fashion. So that's basically how DBWA, I mean, the website or how exactly it looks like. It will allow you to practice plenty of things. There are plenty of different attacks, vulnerabilities, and you can also adjust the security, your security, like the low security, high security, depending upon your expertise. The last is the security onion. For network monitoring, detection of the attack, packet sniffing, and intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, and other stuff. And this is basically how the security onion, again, this operating system is absolutely free and it comes with plenty of tools through which a user can actually sniff or detect the problems or issues, in fact. So that's basically, if you put together all, that's the environment that you are basically, that you might require for your practicing or creating your virtual lab. And that's the here, if you see this is the attacking machine, the Kali machine, which come with a lot of penetration testing tool. That's going to be, these are the two machines, Windows machine, Metasploitable, or if you put any other operating system in your virtual machine. So, and that's over the security onion. Here comes over security onion. So whenever attacker outside the network or even in the same network try to send any malicious packet to these victims or these hosts, so you can actually monitor the traffic, you can see what kind of packet they have transmitted, and you can take different actions, etc., etc. So that's basically the complete virtual lab environment, which student can run on his or her personal computer as well. So that's the way. I mean, this is basically what we thought. I mean, it's really students are really learning a lot of stuff here. So and we are actually using this for our ALG proposal as well, where we are putting together the theoretical stuff plus the labs as well. So that's it, what I have for today, just to introduce you how we can design a course with theoretical stuff plus the practical things. If you guys have any questions or anything to discuss, or if you want us to help you out for virtual lab setup, anything like that, so you can always reach us out to this email address. So thank you very much. Over to you, Anthony.
Are there any questions from the guests? Dan Stafford asks, how much work do you anticipate it will be to keep your work current since the information sector changes so quickly?
That's a very, very good question. Then basically, I mean, the concepts will be again the same, but you are absolutely right, because whenever there's a new security breaches, we have to introduce those security breaches, tell the students like these are the new upcoming things, new vulnerabilities and all that stuff. So honestly, this is a never ending kind of thing. Like after 2 years or 1 year, you have to actually make changes in the book, or you have to make changes in your curriculum. You have to actually put new labs, new things. But of course, fundamental concept will be same. But again, when it comes to new things, introduction of the new things, of course it is.
Great. Well, everyone, I'm going to stop recording. But everyone, you can stay for another 15 minutes to keep asking questions. Thank you both for both of our hosts for this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.